somebody tells me I'm sensitive now, I say, thank you. Because I take that as a compliment, because being sensitive, being in tune, having a strong connection to myself, to my higher self, to my emotions, to my emotional health and my well-being is vital. And sensitives, highly sensitive people, HSPs as they're known in the more linear world, is important and is vital for this universe and for Gaia to move forward. And sensitives play a vital role. Where would the world be without compassion, without integrity, without sensuality, without emotions? If we don't have emotions, we're just robots. We're just hardware with no higher drive. And the higher drive comes from that emotional connection to the soul, to the higher self, to source, to God, whatever you want to call that. You don't even have to take it into a spiritual place. You can see it as just a consciousness, you know, being plugged into consciousness. So I'm making these videos because I'm a shamanic energy therapist. I am a spiritual counselor. I'm an angel healer, fairy healer. I work with spirit, with the other realms, to help people progress, to see transformation, to light the way for people, to light the path forward. I'm all about moving forward. I'm all about transformation and transmutation and being an alchemist. I'm really, really good at turning the lead into gold. That's my gift to the world. We all have our own unique gifts, and my gift is being able to see into the heart of people and being able to help you to have an honest, sincere look at what is going on inside your heart and helping you to transform that and move it to a place that you want to be, that you want to go, but also helping you to make peace with right here, right now. So if you're new to me, hi and welcome. Please like and subscribe. I'm very happy to continue to grow my channel, and it grows every week. I keep getting new subscribers. So as someone who doesn't have fancy equipment, I don't have any lighting, I don't have any of that stuff going on. It's just me and my little iPad. But hey, I get the messages out there, and here's my boyfriend ringing the doorbell. I thought he'd be coming a bit later, so that's funny. I want to do a video about self-love and about having absolute, genuine love for the self. And I'm not talking about superficial love. I'm not talking about egoic love. I'm not talking about liking how you look in your dress and that kind of, you know, judgment. That's, to me, that's a judgmental love, like approval, because okay, today I fit the bill, you know, because I tick my egoic boxes, I will love myself today. Because I've worked out in the gym 4 times a week, I will love myself this week. I'm talking about absolute, unconditional, true, powerful, raw love. And that, I feel like this is my life's theme. This is my life's quest. I'm all about how can I have that strong in myself. I've always been drawn to becoming a master of love, a teacher of love. I'm all about the love. And I think, oh, I thought my boyfriend was going to come in, and I know he doesn't want to be on camera, so that'll be interesting. I've had a recent experience that really taught me how, it really showed me my progress with self-love, but also the work I have to do, the things I have to learn, the lessons that maybe I thought were screwed in tight, maybe became a little bit wobbly, a little bit loose. And I know that was got to do with, it's an old pattern, but it's very much to do with Uranus has moved into Taurus. I'm a Taurus. So when that planet moves into your sign, it only happens like once every 90 or 100 years or something. It just gives this massive like whirlwind of change, of things happening. And that's what this was about. So it really gave me a lot of insight. It got me deep in a deep reflective state about what work I have to do on self-love, where I have to go with that, but also really showed me the deep progress as well that I've made. And you know, happiness, like, it's this elusive thing. We're all fascinated with happiness. There's so many books on happiness, and I think happiness and self-love, it's the same thing, it's the same theme, it's the same energetic vibrational frequency. Because if we can love ourselves in every moment, in all situations, and we can accept and embrace ourselves no matter what's going on, and I'm talking about self-love from a place of, if you're in the moment of rage, if you're in the moment of anger, or any of those lower energies that we're told are bad emotions, there's no judgment. We're able to fully be in that. And that's what I've spent the last few years really doing. I experienced a really big, devastating experience some years ago. It was what's considered a sexual violent crime. I'm not going to get into it because I feel like I've done all my work around that and I've come full circle. I'm not here to invest in that because I have transmuted that energy. I have moved on from that. I've healed those wounds. The point is that extreme, devastating experience pulled me out of my body into spirit, and I was put in the center of a beautiful circle of light of angels. And they said to me, this experience is going to give you the chance to choose love or fear. And you can't choose both because they cancel each other out. They're two very different vibrations. The love is up here, fear is down here. And you will get to choose how you move forward on your path from this experience. And this experience is here to teach you to be a master of whichever way you choose. And you have free will, and it was discussed with me. And of course, straight away I said I choose love, because I've always felt that I'm here to be a teacher of love. I am a lover. I love everything about love. I love loving people. I love accepting people. I love adoring people. But the biggest challenge for me has been loving myself. And I think it's the biggest challenge for most of us. I really do, especially if you're super sensitive and you're a healer, and that's the work that you're here to do. I think that's something that we really, we all grapple to get a grips with. This is why I don't ever curl my hair. It's crazy. I feel like a poodle or something. Anyway, I was looking for something different. I just got bored. So, you see, self-love. there it is, right there. Anyway, I'm still rocking it either way. So I chose love, and that has made all the difference. That has changed the course of my life, and I feel like that has been my biggest teacher. And I have to say, even though initially the first few years after that horrific experience were really rocky and really like turbulent, I've had the happiest years in the last more recent years, because when you hit that rock bottom, it's like there's nothing left to destroy. So you lose all sense of self, but then you're given this beautiful neutral blank canvas to recreate and to renew and to actually see yourself neutrally through the eyes of Source, and to see your life through the eyes of Source. So that's really interesting too. So yeah, I feel like I've been on that journey of like, I always was on the journey of self-love and trying to understand that. But that experience just blew everything out of the water and was like, oh, you really want to learn about love. You really want to master unconditional, absolute love, not just for the self, but for everyone, including, you know, the person who the perpetrator of this situation. And I was like, yes, this is so important, because if you can absolutely love yourself, which I think is the hardest person to love, I think we're the hardest on ourselves, I think we're the most judgmental on ourselves. If you can get to grips with that, that's just going to overflow from you into the outside world, and it's going to overflow into your external world as well, and you're going to have nothing but love and acceptance and adoration for the other, for everything outside of you. Because people, this is something that I'm always trying to share with people, because I really don't think enough people know this. People treat other people how they treat themselves. Like, if you treat yourself, if you're cruel to yourself and you're mean to yourself and you're rude to yourself and you're disrespectful, that is how you will treat other people. That is how you will behave in your relationships. That is how you will be perceived in the outside world, and how your actions will come from that vibration. So when we have absolute true love for the self, that is reflected in how we treat other people, in our relationships, in our work, how we show up in our everyday lives. So to be your most powerful self, your most authentic self, it all starts from the very core within. It all starts with you. It all starts with you and how you are loving yourself. And when you get that foundation solid in place, everything else takes off from there. And all your relationships will just blossom from there. And I feel that's how I was able to be a vibrational match to the high quality, high vibrational romantic relationship that I'm enjoying, because I had spent the time and put the energy into surrendering into the self-love. And I say surrender because it is an act of surrender. It is very much about allowing yourself to drop into that natural organic state. We think that self-love is something we have to learn. It's not something you learn. You were born loving yourself. Look at children. Look at the way a little girl, little boy look at themselves in the mirror. They're like, ooh, yeah, ha, ha, ha. They love themselves. It's so natural. They're fascinated with themselves. They're looking at themselves through the eyes of Source. It's only as they get older, and that is conditioned out of them, and you know, they're told not to love themselves. We are told not to love ourselves. We're told to not be selfish, to put other people first, to yada yada yada. It's all bullshit to keep that old third paradigm system going. And as we know, we're in the fifth dimension now, fourth density, fifth dimension, whichever way you want to put it. We're in a higher place. We're in a higher Gaia, a higher Earth system. So it's really important that we see those illusions for what they are, and we move on from them, because they're limiting, they're boring, and they just keep us locked in that old paradigm. So when you have some big devastation happen in your life, or some big grief, okay, and there's a big loss, which everybody at some point in their own shape or form will experience, I advise you, if you're going through something like that right now, just drop into it. Drop into, like, let it have its way with you. Let it wash over you. Let it like succumb to that pull, because life knows what it's doing. The universe, the cosmos, your soul knows what it's doing. You had this experience because it's going to be your greatest teacher. It's going to make you a master. It's going to help you surrender into that natural organic place of self-love. But you got to go there. You've got to allow yourself to walk into that room. That room is in your heart. That place, that sacred treasure trove is in your heart of hearts. But the ego will tell you, don't open that door. Don't turn that knob. Do not go into that room, because that room will, it's dangerous. Because the ego is terrified of your true power. It's like your true power is there. It's a natural thing you're born with. As I said, just look at the children, look at babies. They're in a state of organic happiness. It's only by being socialized and conditioned in their more grown-up world, or as they're growing up, that is kind of twisted and gnarled out of us, which is such a pity. And my hope is that for the future, we don't do that to children. We allow them to keep that integral sense of self and love that is organic and is our birthright. That's my hope for every child, for every living creature. That is my hope. So the lesson that I really had to revisit recently was, and it was so clever the way my subconscious did it, I felt like I was doing something for myself, making a big decision for myself, but actually I was in that old chestnut of a pattern of putting other people's needs, other people's desires way on top of the list above my own. And boy, oh boy, does that sting when we do that. And, the funny thing is, when we really truly love ourselves and we start within first, we go to this soul first, the only one we really have access to. You might think you can control and manipulate and have a massive influence on other people, but the truth is, your power is within. Your power is really in this present moment only with you. That's really the truth of the situation. So when you work with what you have, which is yourself, and you really learn to look at your own needs, to prioritize your happiness, then you're buoyed up, then you're full, then you're the Holy Grail, and you've got loads to offer the world. You've got lots to give other people, but your cup has to run it over within first. So it's like the gas mask. It's like being on the plane, They tell you, before you tend to other people, put the mask on yourself. Got to fill up your own cup first. Got to make sure that your happiness, your joy, your passion that has to come. That has to be where your focus is. And when that is steady, when those seeds are planted and they've taken root, then you're just this powerhouse. You've so much to give everybody. You're full of joy. You're in alignment. You're in the vortex, and then you can vacillate. You can mingle. You can shine. You can share, and you can be your best self. But be careful, because the subconscious, the ego mind, has little ways of making us feel like, well, I'm doing this for X, Y, Z reasons. But a lot of the time it's just because you're actually tapping into old insecurities, and you're actually feeding those fears and feeding those insecurities. So you have to be really raw and honest with yourself. You have to really look at your reasons for doing things. I think it's important to question your choices, to look at why do you want to do that job, or why do you want to stay friends with that person, or why are you choosing whatever you're choosing. And when we're really sincere with ourselves, then we're able to get to the root of that, and to be able to say, actually, this job isn't serving me, or this friendship isn't serving me. I'm only staying in it because maybe I'm afraid I won't meet other people, or I won't have any other friends. Where if we actually were putting our true needs first, we'd be able to say, well, I can let this go because I can trust, I can love myself first. And in the act of doing that, even with the loss of that, you make space, you make room for the right friendship to come in, or the right job, or the right place, or whatever it is. When we act from a place of integrity, and self-love is all about integrity, when we act from a place of absolute, from love, you know, love and integrity, it's the same thing, it's the same energy. When we act from a place of integrity, everything's taken care of. That's the lesson that I had to learn recently. And I knew this lesson. I mean, I've learned this lesson so many times. It's a hard one lesson. But when we act from integrity, when we act from our own truth, no matter how it looks, no matter what other people think, no matter who we think it's going to affect, when it feels and fits right in your heart, and you just know, this is my truth, this is true for me, this is where I need to be, this is what my intuition is telling me. All your needs will be taken care of. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to let those fears overwhelm you, because that integrity, that self-love, that self-care, that carries you over the highest, steepest mountains. It will take you through blizzards and storms. It's this beautiful inner core that no one can touch. It's a powerful place. It's the soul. It's untouchable. It's the strength of strengths. It's the brightest light, and it will carry you, my friend, and it will love you, and it will support you. And when you trust in that, and you have faith in that, and you stay strong in your bones about that, you've nothing to fear. Make your decisions from a place of the soul, of your integrity, of love for the self, and all will be well. That's my message for today. Namaste.